Newt Gingrich, at the end of last week, called the Palestinian people, quote, an invented people. He said that while talking to the Jewish channel. And that essentially denies that they have a right to a state because they're invented. They're not even a people, according to Newt Gingrich. He was asked about that during the debate, and he had this horrific answer.
Is what I said factually correct? Yes. Is it historically true? Yes. Are we in a situation where every day rockets are fired into Israel while the United States, the current administration, tries to pressure the Israelis into a peace process? Hamas does not admit the right of Israel to exist and says publicly not a single Jew will remain. The Palestinian Authority ambassador to India said last month, there is no difference between Fatah and Hamas. We both agree Israel has no right to exist. Somebody ought to have the courage to tell the truth. These people are terrorists. They teach terrorism in their schools. They have textbooks that say if there are 13 Jews and 9 Jews are killed, how many Jews are left? We pay for those textbooks through our aid money. It's fundamentally time for somebody to have the guts to stand up and say, enough lying about the Middle East.
Governor Romney.
It makes me sick to my stomach how much they applauded that. He just basically said Fatah, Hamas, he listed all the Palestinian groups and then said they are all terrorists. So all the Palestinians are terrorists, according to Newt Gingrich, who's leading the field among the Republican candidates. That is atrocious, to label a whole group of people terrorists. And he says, well, you have to understand, I'm historically correct about them being an invented people. The idea of a Palestine or Palestinians apparently did not exist. Except it's not historically accurate at all. In fact, it's one of the most historically inaccurate things I've ever heard in my life. If you go back, Herodotus, the Greek historian, talked about the Palestinians in 5th century BC. In 2nd century AD, the Romans had coins with the word Palestine on it. They've been talking about Palestine and Palestinians for as long as history has been around. You know, the Philistines in the Bible, those are the Palestinians. To say that they're invented, are you saying that a part of the Bible is invented? I mean, you can go on and on. What else do we have? We have, in 1834, there was a talk of an Arab revolt in Palestine where the Palestinians revolted. I can go back all the way back to 5th century BC. I can come back as early as you want. But he's so pompous and he lies with such ease. Well, oh, yes, you have to understand, I'm a historian. And in history, there has been no Palestinians as an invented piece of people. You have to understand that. No, the only thing I understand is what a grotesque liar you are and how much you would hurt the peace process if you were to be elected president of the United States, which unfortunately right now you stand a decent chance of getting to that place. In fact, former ambassador to Israel, Martin Indyk, U.S. ambassador to Israel, said that this is terrible, not just for the peace process, but it means you're not even pro-Israel. He said, because the government of Israel under Prime Minister Netanyahu supports a two-state solution, the people of Israel, an overwhelming majority of them, support a two-state solution in which there would be an independent Palestinian state living in peace alongside a secure state of Israel. He said Newt Gingrich is not pro-Israel at all if he has this stance. Obviously, the leadership of the Palestinians couldn't agree more. Prime Minister Salam Fayyad said it is extremely trivial, demeaning, and ridiculous. He said even the most extremist settlers of Israel wouldn't talk in such a ridiculous way. And it's absolutely true. Newt Gingrich is just abhorrent on this issue and would hurt Israel, the Palestinians, and the peace process and U.S. foreign policy. This is as extreme as anything we've ever seen. Even George W. Bush was for a two-state solution. And asked to explain it today, his spokesperson came out and said, yes, he meant it, but you have to understand that he has, quote, you have to understand decades of complex history. Yeah, none of you are smart enough to understand history. We are the historians in the Newt Gingrich campaign, even though we don't know a goddamn thing about history. We just run off at the mouth, say the most extreme thing possible, so we can get these Republican primary voters that are foaming at the mouth to applaud wildly so we can win the Republican primary. That's his objective. And if he wins the presidency, it is a scary, scary thing.